This episode is brought to you by HASA. Liquid is clearly better. Liquid chlorine is the highest purity, works immediately, has no added cyanuric acid or calcium, and it will leave your pool safe, clean, and clear. And by the Bottom Feeder professional grade battery powered vacuum system. It sucks to clean pools, so cleaning pools sucks less. Get $100 off with code DVB100.
This episode is brought to you by Skimmer, the #1 pool service software in North America. With Skimmer, you can streamline your schedule, grow your revenue, and keep your customers coming back with 5-star service. Whether you're a one-person operation or an established team, Skimmer is your partner in success. Visit getskimmer.com/poolguy to try Skimmer for free for 30 days.
The Pool Guy Podcast Show. The Pool Guy Podcast Show. The Pool Guy Podcast Show.
Hey, welcome to the Pool Guy Podcast Show. In this episode, I'm going to go over what you should purchase for your pool route, either a vacuum system or a portable filter or portable filtration system. And there is a pretty major difference between both of these systems, and I'll go over the differences, and I'll kind of guide you on which one you should be leaning towards for your service area. Are you a pool service pro looking to take your business to the next level? Join the Pool Guy Coaching Program. Get expert advice, business tips, exclusive content, and get direct support from me. I'm a 35-year veteran in the industry. Whether you're starting out or scaling up, I've got the tools to help you succeed. Learn more at swimmingpoollearning.com. I actually get asked this question a lot because both of these systems are actually very good to have, but sometimes you have to pick between one or the other. So a vacuum system, these were invented rather recently, in fact. I believe in the early 2000s, somewhere around there, the Hammerhead and Power Vac came out. And the vacuum system basically works on the principle of I don't know if you've used one of these, you probably have if you do pool service, but you have a garden hose and you have a leaf master. You connect the garden hose to it and the water will shoot up into the bag. And it's kind of the same concept. They're not using the water pressure, of course, but they are using a pretty huge thrust motor in some of these vacuum systems, like a 35-pound thrust motor. Think of like a boat propeller, basically, for a small fishing boat. So this is on the bottom and the throat of it. The throat is a wide opening, 6 feet or so, 6 feet, that'd be gigantic, 6 inches or so in diameter, and all the debris, of course, with the propeller spinning, it pulls the water up through the bottom, into the top into a bag. So that's kind of basically how they work. They have a battery that's, either on the device like the bottom feeder or that sits on a cart or on the pool deck or on your waist. And that's what powers this system. So it's powered completely separate from the pool's filtration system. And you don't even need to have the pool running to have one of these working. They're really convenient. Now, what's the difference between one of these, the vacuum system, and say the Advantage PortaVac? Well, these portable filtration systems have been around a very long time. T-Dula started making these carts a long time ago, and then pool pros back in the 90s would put a Hayward filter on top with maybe a 1-horsepower pump, and they would create their own portable filtration system. It's not super hard to make. The advantage, pun intended, of getting one that's already built is that you can get a hitch for it, and you can actually connected to the back of your truck without having to put it in the bed of your truck. So you'll see a lot of these homemade ones that are like in the bed of people's pickup trucks. They're really heavy when they're full of water, and it's not the most easiest way to transport them between stops. But the portable filtration systems have been around a long time. And before that, the pool pros like myself, back in the early 90s, would create our own portable pump. We would just get a 1-horsepower above ground pool pump that plugs in, and then we would get the adapters to the front and top, and you would just have a waste pump. Why would you create something like that? Well, in my area, we don't have a lot of sand filters, nor do we have a lot of DE filters with a multi-port valve with a vacuum to waste. And so if you get a lot of dirt in the pool, you can't really use this system because it's not set up that way. Here, about 60% of the filters now are cartridge filters with no backwash at all. And so if you have a pool that gets hit by a windstorm and there's a lot of dirt in there, you have to vacuum it into the filter, then clean the filter, and it's a really time-consuming process. I remember back in the 90s, I was cleaning this pool. It was a pretty new setup, and there was one of the first real cartridge filters at this pool, but it was a single cartridge filter. I'm going to say it was a 150 square foot cartridge filter. There was a huge windstorm. The pool was full of dirt, and I didn't have any portable filtration system or a portable pump at this time. I just was beginning my service. And I remember I was vacuuming the pool, and everything was going really well. And half the pool was pretty much clean. You could see the white plaster. But then all of a sudden, the cartridge filter started blowing out all the dirt I was vacuuming up. And I just kept vacuuming. By the time I finished, the whole pool was cloudy. All the dirt was back on the bottom because that cartridge filter got overloaded and the dirt blew back into the pool. And that was the drawback, that I realized, I need something that I can vacuum out to waste on these pools with these cartridge filters. So I created a portable pump. You can make one of these yourself. Maybe it'll cost you $300 to put it together, maybe $350 with the adapters and then the pump that you can plug in. And you could take this to your stops and use that as a portable pump. So it's not something that is expensive. You can also buy a portable filtration system completely built. These are really handy for a lot of different reasons, and I'll touch on that in a minute, but those are kind of like the contrasting between the vacuum system and the portable filtration system. One is made mainly for dirt. The other one is made for leaf debris. The secondary question I'm often asked is, well, how good is a vacuum system with dirt? And I'm going to tell you that it doesn't do really well with dirt. You can get a smaller micron bag. Like for instance, the bottom feeder has a 57 micron bag, which is really good. I mean, it's a small micron, but 57 microns or 60 microns, a lot of manufacturers make a 60 micron bag like Riptide, does not really get the fine dirt out. It'll just kind of settle back down to the bottom. And unless you have a suction side cleaner in there getting the dirt out, you're going to have to vacuum that pool out eventually. So they're not really designed for fine dirt. They're designed for leaf debris, for windstorms, for rapid vacuuming of a pool with a suction cleaner. So here in my area of Southern California, and all my pools, by the way, have a suction side cleaner or a pressure side cleaner. I don't take any service accounts on without an automatic cleaner. If they don't have one, I'll put one in. I'll put something in the customer can afford, like the Zodiac Ranger, or I'll put in a spare cleaner that I have, and that's something that I do for all the accounts because I really don't want to spend time manually vacuuming a pool. It just takes too much time. The pool doesn't look good all week long when there's dirt and leaves on the bottom, so an automatic cleaner comes in handy. So with the combination of a suction side cleaner and the vacuum system, you can really spot vacuum these pools rapidly in my area of Los Angeles County, and you can get out of that stop quickly and easily without a lot of labor putting in the manual vacuum head, putting the hose on it, priming the pump. All that's unnecessary in my service area. Other areas, of course, don't have that luxury, and you may have to vacuum the pool. And so you have to make a decision. Now, I would say that if you're in the desert region, like if you're in Indio, California, or maybe up the hill in Hesperia, Apple Valley, or the height, if you're out even further, where you get a lot of dust, Arizona would be a good place for the portable filtration systems, Nevada. These are great for areas that get hit by a lot of dust storms where you don't have a filter with the waste mode and you can't vacuum the waste. You can have one of these and you can take it to the stop, vacuum the pool into the filter system like the Advantage PortaVac, and then clean that cartridge filter at the end of the day and not use the customer's system because they can get overloaded very quickly with a lot of dirt. So it's always a good idea to vacuum with something separately or vacuum to waste with like the PortaVac or something like that. So they come in really handy. The portable filtration systems like the PortaVac or MiniVac 2 come in really handy at commercial accounts as well. I have many members of my group that will purchase one and just park it at a commercial pool because a lot of these commercial pools have 4 skimmers and you have to go down to the equipment room and turn off 1 skimmer or 2 skimmers, and then you have to vacuum it and move the hose to another skimmer to get the rest of the pool. So having this on the pool deck, you just connect your pool hose to it, your manual vacuum head, and you vacuum everything into the PortaVac. The water goes back into the pool. Everything goes into the 150 square foot cartridge filter, and you can pretty much vacuum a commercial pool in maybe 20-25 minutes when it would take you 40-45 minutes switching skimmers, turning off skimmers, going down to the equipment room. So it is convenient for that reason, and it's basically an equipment pad on wheels. You have your filter, you have your 1.5 horsepower pump, and you can vacuum from anywhere on that pool site. Now, it does need to be plugged in, so it's not completely separate from the house. So you have to have electricity for this to operate. So keep that in mind if you have a power outage or something, or there's no plug nearby. You have to carry an extension cord to plug this thing in. They do make a gas-powered one for certain regions, but most people will purchase an electric-powered one. And so you do need electricity to use the PortaVac at a service account. What I consider a kind of hybrid vacuum system is the Vac Daddy. Now, when they first came out with the Vac Daddy, they didn't have the vacuum to waste adapter. I really think that if they came out with the Vac Daddy with the vacuum to waste adapter, it would have been marketed a lot better for specifically vacuuming pools to waste. So it's kind of like the PortaVac in a way. It's got a lot less horsepower. I think it pumps around 50 or 60 gallons per minute with the internal motor in there. And then you can actually get an adapter with the Vac Daddy vacuum to waste, attach your pool hose to the back of it, attach the Vac Daddy to your pool pole, and you basically have a vacuum system that goes into the pool, and you can vacuum the waste with that. So it's really good also. It has bags for like leaf debris. So it's kind of like a mix between a vacuum system and a portable pump. Now the bags are fairly good size. They're nowhere nearly as big as the bag on top of a vacuum system. And you use a manual vacuum head on it. So to me, it's truly a hybrid cleaner between a vacuum system and a portable pump. You can use it either with the debris going into the bag and the dirt going into the bag, or as a vacuum to waste device. So it's kind of a unique category in a unique device. And if you're looking for something more portable than a portable filtration system, I would consider this. You can vacuum the waste if you have a lot of pools you vacuum the waste with. The advantage of the portable filtration system is that you're not really wasting water. It's going back into the pool through a discharge facing the pool, and everything goes into the filter. Now back to the vacuum systems. For commercial pools, these are great as well, because a lot of times you're not getting a lot of dirt in the bottom of the pools. And if you do get some of the dirt, it's not the fine dirt, it's more sand and kind of gunk in the bottom. And the vacuum system bag will actually hold that. I prefer a 75 micron bag myself in my area, because it gets just enough of the fine dirt, but it's also robust enough to get the leaf debris without tearing. And you have to vacuum a little bit slower than if you had maybe a 200 micron bag, but it's effective for commercial pools as well, because if you're not manually vacuuming them every time you go there, but sometimes you have leaf debris on the bottom or different things on the bottom, you can use your vacuum system and vacuum a commercial pool, a large pool, 50,000 gallons, pretty rapidly and be out of there and on your way. It's great for residential pools. When you get back there, you have some leaf debris here and there. Maybe the suction cleaner didn't get everything. You just drop that in there and you can vacuum it out. You can also vacuum out attached spas really easily. And it's just a great, quick way to vacuum pools. The bottom feeder, of course, is the fastest vacuum system out there. There's no cords. You just connect it to your pole, drop it in the pool, and you can vacuum a 15,000 gallon pool in probably about 4 or 5 minutes if you vacuum it completely all the way up to the sides and everything. And if it doesn't have like tremendous amount of debris, you can move pretty rapidly in there with the bottom feeder. The Riptide, of course, is extremely powerful. So if you're in an area where you have a lot of leaf debris and you get tons of windstorms, like a lot of areas in California, there's certain cities here like Fontana that it's windy like every day. The Riptide would be great because you have a lot of leaf debris to vacuum out, and it's extremely powerful and it's extremely durable as well. So I would recommend that. So you can see that it's area specific really. If you're in an area where you have a lot of leaf debris, not a lot of fine dirt in the pool, then of course the vacuum system would be a great tool. If your area is more fine dirt, then a portable pump or a portable filtration system would be something that you would want to lean towards, and that would be what I would suggest you purchase over the vacuum system. There's some areas where you're driving around, you don't see any vacuum systems at all. You just see a bunch of portable pumps on the back of people's trucks. Then you know you're in a really dirt region. And in some areas, like my area, you see mainly vacuum systems and very few portable pumps or portable filtration systems. And it's really not my place to tell you that you should get both of these systems, but I always feel like you should have as many tools of the trade as possible for every situation. And if you did want to invest in like the Advantage PortaVac, you can do that. They do sell a T-bar mount for the back of your truck. So you can connect 2 receivers and you can have, say, the Riptide on one side and the Portavac on the other side. I have a video on YouTube that shows the T-bar mount with that exact setup. Riptide on one side, Portavac on the other side, and it's kind of handy to have that. Now you can just get away sometimes in an area like mine with just a portable pump. You can build one or you can buy one at Advantage Manufacturer does sell a portable pump you can purchase. It's a 1.5 horsepower portable pump with the adapters already on there. But you can also build one. So you may just want to build a portable pump in some areas. You may not want the full portable filtration system, but they do come in handy. I've used my Portavac for kind of odd situations. One where the pool was not running and they were kind of fighting the warranty on the pump. It was pretty new, and so they just left it off because they didn't want to put something in there and not get compensated for it. So I used my Portavac as a portable filtration system. The customer would just turn it on for a few hours every day and it would run the pool. And I've also used it to clean up a pool one time where they had a leak detector cut the plumbing because they were looking for a leak. And at that same week, they were having a wake for a family member in the backyard. So I took the Portavac back there and I was able to clean the pool and make it look really good for them, for their service back there. So it does come in handy when systems are down. You can use it as kind of like a substitute filtration system. Again, it comes in super handy at commercial pools, so a lot of people buy it for that reason. It comes in handy for dirt pools. And the vacuum system, of course, is extremely handy in a lot of situations as well, mainly for windstorms. You sleep much easier at night with the vacuum system, and if you don't use it all the time, if you have it in your backyard, you're going to be glad you have it. So just the bottom line, a vacuum system is more for large leaf debris, and the portable filtration system is more for fine dirt. It does pick up leaf debris as well because it has a standard pump, and you can use a leaf canister in front if you wanted to as well to capture all the leaves before they get into the pump. So they both have their purposes, and in some cases you may want both of them, and in some cases you would want one over the other based on kind of the situations I talked about here. If you're looking for other podcasts I recorded, you can find those on my website, swimmingprolearning.com. If you click on the podcast icon on the banner, that'll take you to a drop-down menu with over 1,600 podcasts. And if you're looking at my coaching program, you can learn more at poolguycoaching.com. Thanks for listening to this podcast. Have a good rest of your week, and God bless. This episode is brought to you by HASA, providing products that deliver clean, healthy water for every aspect of everyday life. The bottom feeder battery-powered vacuum system, portable, powerful, and only weighs 12 pounds. And Skimmer. Get Skimmer, America's #1 pool service software. Podcast listeners can try Skimmer for free at getskimmer.com/poolguy.